There, Minister Burch, would you like to make a contribution at this point?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I would.
Thank you.
Mr. Speaker, she abruptly left her job at Oxford. She came home to help her country. She spent 14 days in quarantine and worked every day of those 14 days, coordinating and designing the lab at Southside. She designed the COVID drive-through testing facility. She recruited an army of young Bermudian students to teach them about her work. She has worked tirelessly to test as many residents as possible and produce those results in record time. Mr. Speaker, I asked the question, what employer would agree to such a sudden arrangement if the person in question was not respected and held in such high regard by that employer? Of course, I speak of none other than the most distinguished, respected, educated, sincere, compassionate, and humble Dr. Karika Weldon. For the record, Mr. Speaker, I first met Dr. Weldon in person in November last year. She is an impressive young lady who simply exudes competency, sincerity, and humbleness. The second occasion followed her release from quarantine on April 23rd. From that point, I adopted her and told her parents I had done so. I told her that she is now my daughter. As a fellow Bermudian, I am so proud of her accomplishments and impressed with her work that I committed to doing everything within my power to ensure her success. Mr. Speaker, MP, now Minister Renee Ming, made an impassioned speech at the last sitting of this House about the value of women's contribution to Bermuda, the workplace, and politics. She specifically spoke to the plight of Black women and the virtues of encouraging their wider participation in the community. Following is my recollection of some of what she said, and I quote, "It is time for women, especially Black women, to stand up and take their place. Stop sitting around and talking about it. Get out there and make it happen. In whatever arena you can make a difference, then get out and do it. Stop talking about what's not happening and get out and make it happen." End quote. I wholeheartedly support that view, Mr. Speaker. However, I would like to go a step further in exploring this concept and talk about the elephant in the room, the jealousy and envy of Black women towards other Black women who are successful. You know what I'm talking about, Mr. Speaker, the crab in the bucket mentality. And no, I am not saying that this behavior is exclusive to Black women only. That's who I wish to address today. The same speech can apply to some of our Black brothers and white folk as well. But today, I have a specific reason for addressing the issue of Black women because the matter I wish to talk about concerns them. I feel compelled to speak to the disgraceful and malicious treatment Dr. Weldon has received. It started even before she arrived on these shores. I will admit that the first person who questioned her credentials was a white man, less qualified than her, but simply exercising his white privilege to question the qualifications of any Black. He was soon joined by the white South African doctor whose blatant racism towards Dr. Weldon and all other Blacks in this country has already been revealed in posts made online. But the majority of those deliberately planning and plotting for her ultimate failure are Black women, and many of them work in the Ministry and Department of Health. Mr. Speaker, I've witnessed treachery before, but never to the extent being repeatedly visited upon Dr. Weldon. And please, no one suggests I don't know what I'm talking about. I could name names today, Mr. Speaker, but I won't. The the expectation that these, my tempered comments tonight, will encourage those who have been acting in this manner or those supervisors who have provided either tacit or overt consent for others to do so to make a concerted effort to fix this. Failure to do so will leave me with no choice but to call those names and take other actions to force them to correct their behavior. Mr. Speaker, why would any bright young Bermudian, and there are countless numbers of them, want to return to this place when there are those who will happily spend every waking moment trying to tear them down? And may I also state that there are work permit holders who have been both nasty and disrespectful to Dr. Weldon. Mr. Speaker, there is no foreigner who should think they have license to disrespect Bermudians. They are guest workers in this country, and they should act like it. Mr. Speaker, of course, there has been at least one member of this House who falls into that category as well. He should know that I will not hesitate to call his name if necessary. It will certainly remove the mask of deception he likes to wear. Mr. Speaker, I'm calling on all of these people to cease and desist. This is personal to me and has nothing to do with me being a minister, albeit I'm using that platform to make this statement. You are attacking one of my children. Many of us feel this way about all our students. It is the duty of every senior villager in this country to ensure the success of the next generation. This government, like previous PLP administration, has set a course to recruit, train, encourage, fund, and employ young Bermudians. In public works alone, we have 37 summer students, down from 56 last year. They are engaged in virtually every aspect of this ministry, from accounts to water management, and every area in between, including engineering, estates, parks, Port Royal Golf Course, human resources, Times Bay, the quarry depot, the prospect depot, structures, and the electrical section. We are even supporting a student in the former ministry department of land title registration. This demonstrates our seriousness as a government and as Bermudians to support our young. We have tracked their progress during the school year and look forward to many of them returning this summer. In fact, 2 students returned this evening on the BA flight after what has seemed like an interminable 4 months trying to get home. We look forward to welcoming them following their quarantine. Mr. Speaker, you would have to be inhuman or from Mars if you were not proud of these young people as you witness their growth and maturity each year. I just learned that one of my returnees is a new constituent of mine who will be voting for the first time in the next election. I will be making arrangements outside of office hours, of course, to visit and get him and his twin brother registered to vote. Mr. Speaker, we are developing an army of qualified, trained, and competent young people who we will ensure know that there is a welcoming environment for them to return home and take their rightful place in the country of their birth. Every ministry in this government is committed to this aim. Well, I'm putting those on notice who wish to denigrate and make it torturous for any young person to return home, that we will not stand idly by. We will not stand for it. And if you are a guest worker in this country, we will invite you to leave. That behavior will not be tolerated. Dr. Weldon happily signed a contract with the government of Bermuda that pays her $0. Yes, you heard me right. She doesn't get a dime of our tax dollars. And I, for one, believe that contract should be renegotiated and she should be paid handsomely. But that's a fight for another day. What I want to focus on is the fact that she agreed to uproot her career and life at Oxford University to return home to help us, Mr. Speaker, I asked how many of those people who are trying to tear her down would willingly give up a mere 2 cents of their salary to give back to this country. I hear crickets. Do I sound angry? You bet your last dollar and live it. I asked some of those black women who have been terrorizing Dr. Weldon, for all the barriers you have broken down, I cannot understand why you would erect them anew to block another talented black woman. Again, I heard crickets. Mr. Speaker, I know some are going to be most uncomfortable, even angry with my remarks. I don't give a dicky bird about their discomfort. They have committed what I consider to be the cardinal sin by attacking a brilliant, young, black Bermudian for no apparent reason other than jealousy and envy. As a villager in this country, Dr. Weldon and all young people striving to reach their full potential are connected to me. And so to attack them means you also attack me. They are not equipped to deal with such duplicity, and nor should they be. But Mr. Speaker, rest assured I am so equipped, and I know several others who are as well. I'm here to declare and decree that we will not stand idly by or allow them to get away with it. Mr. Speaker, don't take my word for our amazing Dr. Weldonians. It only takes a visit to YouTube to view the series of 3 Mike Sharp interviews with Dr. Weldon for anyone who has not met her to learn how talented she is and how singularly focused she is on helping her country. You'll also get to meet 2 of her students and learn what they think of her. I guarantee you, you will be impressed. Mr. Speaker, MP Tanae Furbett commented about Dr. Parika Weldon and the House last met. And she quoted Dr. Maya Angelou, who once said, "I come as one, but stand for 10,000, as does Dr. Weldon." I agree with that sentiment and would like Bermuda to prove MP Furbett right by signing a petition in support of Dr. Weldon. We need to demonstrate to her that it is a very small minority of haters who want her to fail, and we will stand squarely behind her to ensure that does not happen to one of our own. Go to www.change.org/support Dr. Weldon to cast your vote. Mr. Speaker, I want to stress in the strongest possible terms that Dr. Weldon is the real deal. She has already put Bermuda on the map. She willingly answered the call to help her country. She did not sign up for all this foolishness. And all of us must show our support for this most outstanding young Bermudian, Dr. Parika E. Weldon. So sign the petition at www.change.org/support Dr. Weldon and let her know that we stand firmly behind and with her. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.